Safari Nites, drum and bass version.
Well, hi, welcome to the continuation of the Safari Nights 1 year anniversary. Narrated by Osman, Okey. So, Black Kiwi and the Safari Dub Chronicles. I chose the label name Black Kiwi for dub and ragga events because it best describes who I am in two ways. Black Kiwi. I'm a black man and a citizen of New Zealand, hence the name Kiwi. And the Black Iwi. Iwi in Maori, the indigenous New Zealand language, means tribe, nation, or people. So Black Nation also describes me. So in other words, it wasn't always drums and Afrobeat and Afro house. So music has always had a huge impact on me. And over time, I figured out how to manipulate that to my advantage. So like Big Brother Bob would say, one good thing about music, when it hits you, feel no pain. So I relied on music to soothe out the pain, of growing up away from friends and family. Same vibe took me down to Soho, underground in the 90s when I was growing up there, and also kept the same vibe going to New Zealand, going to concerts of Sound in the Dub and Trinity Roots. So Toronto also have a thriving drum and bass community, which I intend to tap into, as long as I live here in Toronto. So yeah, there is a lot of interest, in the drum and bass culture. RAGGA Jungle is out there. So there are some locations that used to have it, more frequently every Wednesday at Timeless back in the day, and then up to, you could go to Baseline, Craig, it's big up Craig, So yeah, and it's been my frequent places I frequent, when I'm not, doing art or doing drumming or doing IT stuff. So drum and bass has always been part of my life, yes. Yeah, it was really something that that I've always wanted to do, but I find that there's there are limited locations for drum and bass. There's a whole bunch of places that if you went to the drum and bass gig, the establishments they're pretty much worried about about how much they're going to make, which I don't blame. I don't blame them for doing that. If you have a business, it's got to be profitable in it. But then there, it kind of got me thinking. If there was a way, there's a solution for this. It would be trying to figure out a place where people can come. Just spin some drums. I know there are a few places where this can happen. This kind of situation. There are a few people that get together at clubs or maybe at bars or maybe on a specific day on a Tuesday, on a weekday, and do hip hop. I've been to a couple of that, like people rap, do poetry, spoken word. But there's not much like that, in the RAGGA jungle drum and bass situation. So we always have to wait for big names like Marcus Visionary or, all the other big names here in Toronto. Who until they're playing in the form of One Loft or maybe playing way back when in Timeless, and then it becomes like a huge day for everyone. And that's when people who have not heard drum and bass over a very long period of time tend to overreact when the vibe hits them. So I guess that's what the establishments are worried about. Just my 2 cents, really. Yeah, RAGGA Jungle, always drives me crazy. It just brings out that little kid in me, that just, the vibe just hits every cell in my body, and they all react at the same time. And usually, I lose control, and I'm not really cognitive, what I am doing. So the vibe takes over, and all I have to do is just flow with the music. So most of the moves I make are quite really conditioned. I don't do them; they just do. So that's what music does to me, and I'm sure a lot of people also have that sensation as well. Like most people that listen to music, with their body, like they hear a certain kind of music and they have like goosebumps, all over their body. So I'm one of those people. So if you're in my tribe, big up, make contact. So I really want to know why that happens. Like when I hear a certain kind of music, it impacts me, my body reacts to it, and then when I hear other kinds of music, I have absolutely no reaction to them. So drum and bass does that to me. The bass. Trust in the bass. So the main idea was to bring well-known DJs in Toronto who are not being very well represented. There are many excellent DJs out there in the RAGGA jungle, junglist, dub, bass, so many MCs. They're not very well represented. So my aim, or the aim of Safari Dub Chronicles, was to bring all of these people together, and in a way, so we can have a story, have a story told, around what we do. So that's the main idea about doing this. Perfection is perfected, so I'ma let them understand. From a young G's perspective, and before me they got a trick, I have to find the contraceptive. You never know, she could be earning her man and learning her man, and at the same time burning her man. Now when she burning, I'ma chill for a minute, cause ain't no loving good enough to give. So I started to be on the lookout for any DJs that really interest me. And one of them was Marcus Visionary, who I went to a couple of his gigs. And my first interaction with Marcus was when Yana from Toronto Hype and Toronto Art Blast, we had a demolition art party at the old apartment building that she used to live in was going to be demolished, and so she organized an art event and I helped her do it. So that was when I met Marcus Visionary for the first time. At the same time with the dope rhyme that I kick, and I know I feel some more funky shit to add to my collection. The selection symbolizes dope. Take a toke with dope show. If you do, so it was inevitable that within a very short time that I was going to. This was definitely happening. I was gonna bring Marcus onto Safari Nites or Safari Dub Chronicles. And I was also going to be bringing, any other DJs that we really loved. And one of them was Kat Cole, brilliant, DJ. I heard her for the first time when Yana had invited her, down to the beach, to play. This was sometime, I think it was June 21st, 2019. So we're all on the beach, and all of a sudden, Kat shows up. She texts me trying to figure out, whether I had a cable, cable for her laptop. She had forgotten it on her way, and on her way to us. And it just so fortunately turns out that that I had the same laptop that she had, and that was the first time I met Kat Cole as well. Yeah, that was a typical Kat Cole effect, she just brings the vibe, at the highest level, and it was Yana had invited her down to this gig, and this is one of the one of the highlights of beach events, one of the first dub events that we did, drum and bass and Ragga Jungle. And so it was a resounding success, and it just occurred to me that it was so easy, to do these things if only we could get a few people committed to it. I think that's where the challenge is, actually. That's where the challenge is, getting the commitment. I guess there's very little much more I can say about this awesome individual, and the music and everything pretty much tells the whole story. So Safari Nights always, obviously one of the main aspect of it is the art, side of it. Initially, I went with the African Neon Mask initiative, with that, key word of, bring your mask, come as you are, come and draw who you are, or something like that. So. One of the other DJs I worked with, one of the first days I set up, maybe during one of my dry runs, this guy walks up to me on the beach and he's like, when are you starting? And I'm like, yeah, I'm starting. So he's like, hey, I'm like, what's your name? And he's like, I'm Ryan. So it turns out to be Ryan Pym, whom I started to work with initially, and he was always there, punctual, bringing the vibe, keeping it real. And here's some of his music. And also inviting the DJs down to the beach also meant that it allowed me time to indulge in one of my favorite pastimes, which is painting. So the Safari Nights, a painting that you see on the screen at the moment is, I just did it the first day on the 20th, on the 23rd. There was a whiteboard there. I just picked it up and I, started drawing on it, and then continued to work on it throughout the lifetime of Safari Nights. For over a year I kept putting stuff on it, and these days is one of the mask that's blowing behind me at the moment. That's what it is. Yeah, so this is Ryan Pym, keeping it real, as usual.